Hello everybody, and welcome back to a new installment of my videos on Infidel, the GMT game, set in the era of the Crusades in the Holy Land. What you can see here is the layout of the Battle of Harran, which took place on May 7th, 1104. We have two separate Crusader armies down here. We have the army of Baldwin II of Edessa and Jocelyn Torbessel down here. This consists of 8 knights units from Edessa. Edessa was the first Crusader state to be founded in the 11th century. What happened was the Crusaders, on their first crusade to capture Jerusalem, made their way into the Holy Land, and they fought a couple of battles there. They captured Antioch in 1098, and one of the noblemen decided that he wanted to have his own fiefdom established in the area, and so he founded the first Crusader state known as Edessa, and this is basically, if you will, the king of Edessa, Baldwin II, and some of his troops engaging the Turkish armies at Harran. The second Crusader group is over here. That's Bohemond of Taranto and Tancred of Taranto. They bring with them 10 units of Sicilian knights, a couple of crossbowmen, a couple of pike and men-at-arms units. They're facing 3 separate Turkish armies. One is commanded by Sokman of Aleppo, who has 25 light cavalry archers, and then we have Karaja of Harran, who commands a couple of medium cavalry from Syria, and then we have Jikirmish of Mosul, who commands light cavalry of Cappadocia, and the other one is a term I've never heard before. It's the Danishmend light cavalry archers. So you're familiar with the battlefield if you've watched the previous installments on Montgisard, because essentially the map is the same. Only in the Montgisard area we disregarded all of the terrain features. In this particular battle, however, we do have a river here, and in order to cross this there will be a terrain penalty for anyone who's on foot. Mounted units will just basically cross this without any problems. If you're a foot soldier, then you have an additional movement cost of +1. You can actually see this on this terrain chart down here for Harran. If you want to follow this at home, this is basically the list that I will be consulting. We also have a slope area here, and if you want to go up the slope, you have to spend an additional movement point. So for example, for this, and it doesn't matter if you're on foot or if you're mounted. So for example, usually you would go, this is a group of crossbowmen, you would go 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be their movement allowance, but seeing as they're going up the slope, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And also if you're going down the slope, if you're on foot, you would also have to spend 1 additional movement point. If you're mounted, going down the slope doesn't require any additional movement points. So basically, this is something that we have to bear in mind as we play this battle. The setup is pretty simple. In this particular battle, all units are facing each other, and unlike the Montgisard, where the Muslim contingent was always disordered at the beginning of battle, because for them it was a surprise. Here everybody's battle ready, and the Turk player goes first. So now what I have to make a decision on is which of these units will go first, which of these commanders. Will it be Sokman, will it be Karaja, or will it be Jurkimish of Mosul? Which one will go first, and where will we attack? So I think I've made my decision. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these light archers under Sokman's command to attack this group of Edessan forces. So basically they all have a movement of 8, and seeing as we don't have to expend any additional movement points crossing the Balik River, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 would bring them in range, in archery range of these knights. So what would happen is these guys would advance, they would shoot at these knights, but seeing as the knights would be fired upon, they can countercharge. Now, the thing about countercharging is you can countercharge if you're being charged, you can countercharge if you're being fired at, and you can countercharge if you're being shocked. So, and only heavy cavalry and knights can countercharge. Now, heavy cavalry may countercharge unless they're disordered or unless they are in the zone of control of an enemy unit at the beginning of the activation phase. Knights must countercharge unless they're disordered or unless they're in the zone of control of an enemy unit at the beginning of the activation phase. In order to prevent your knights from countercharging, you have to have a leader with them, so they have to be in command of a leader, and then you have to restrain them by rolling, and you subtract the leader's activation rating. So in this case Baldwin has a 3 and Jocelyn has a 2, so I would have to roll no more than 6, otherwise these knights would just basically countercharge no matter what. I mean, this is the game mechanic that tries to represent the zeal with which these knights, who were thinking they were fighting for God, would react to any kind of enemy attack. They were very hard to restrain. They were noblemen. Some of them even didn't really submit willingly to the overall command of a temporal ruler. They believed that they were being led by God, that they were following a higher power, that they had the blessing of the Pope and by extension the blessing of God. So, you know, they were really very zealous and they were there to fight. They were fighting machines and they just wanted to wipe out the enemy forces. So this is the game mechanic that tries to emulate this. So what I'm now going to do is I am going to move all of these guys 8 hexes down, and then they're going to fire at these knights. So here we go. So as you can see, not everyone will be able to fire simply because these guys are not all in range. And we'll also have to advance Sockman, or else in the next turn everybody will be out of command. So he's going to advance his 8 as well. So, if we now look at who is possibly in range of firing, this unit 1 can shoot at this unit, 1, this one, 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 and this one. This one would be out of range. So, the range for everybody is 2, which for archers means that they have a penalty of -1. So from every roll we have to subtract 1. We're also firing at knights, which is another penalty of -1, and we're also firing from horseback. So overall, to all of these, I have to add -3. So let's see how this works. So, seeing as this is a potential countercharging scenario, we have to consult how to countercharge. And what's happening here is, first of all of these knights need to make a countercharge die roll. So you're going to do this. This one rolls a 4. -2 for their DRM. So on a 3 or less, these guys will countercharge. So this one is going to countercharge. Now let's see if we have I think we have counters for this actually. Yeah. So that we remember who is going to countercharge later. This group is going to countercharge. This group is definitely going to countercharge at a die roll of 0. This group is also going to countercharge because they rolled a 3. And it's like 3 or less, so this group is at a 6, it won't countercharge. This group is at a 3 minus 1 is a 2, it's definitely going to countercharge. I think I'm running out of, I think I need to make a couple of counters for countercharge. Here we go, this group is countercharging. This group at 5 minus 0 is not countercharging, this group at 4 is not countercharging, and this group at 3 is definitely countercharging. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just gonna use this to mark a. So we just have to pretend that this here says charge. Okay, so now. So this unit is now attacking these knights at -3, which is a 1, which means no effect. -1, no effect. -2, no effect. No, actually 1, no effect. We will not have an effect unless it's 5. 7, no effect. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's now this unit. No effect. 2, no effect. 7. That's a 4, again, no effect. 4, no effect. 8. 8 minus 3 is 5. So this group, which is going to countercharge later, seeing as the target is mounted but in normal state, so not disordered, will now be disordered, which is important because as they countercharge, we will be using the disordered side. So now these guys are going to countercharge. So this group is going to charge this one, so we're going to move here. That's a 0 plus 1 from the DRM, plus 3 because it's knights attacking light cavalry, brings it to a 4, and on the charge results a 4 means that the defender is disordered. So this group is disordered now, which is not too bad actually for the knights. Now this one will charge this group. For, sorry you didn't see that, for a 3 plus 1 is 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 on the charge is defender disordered, retreat 1 hex. Okay, now we have an issue because this group cannot retreat 1 hex because the hexes behind it are taken up by its own fellow soldiers. So what's going to happen is if you cannot retreat, you're eliminated. So here they are really lucky. This group is eliminated, so we're going to put this aside. And we're also going to advance the flight point track for the Turks by 1, because one eliminated light cavalry, I think, is 1 flight point. I'm just going to check this. That would be something that would be nice if they had printed this on the flight point track. So let's see, flight points. Yeah. Oh, 2 flight points for each other type, mounted unit or named leader. Okay, so they're actually at 2. That's good to know. Okay, so this group is now going to charge, and they're going to charge this unit. So it's a 4, plus 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8, which means defender disordered, retreat 1 hex. Again, they cannot retreat 1 hex, so they're eliminated as well. And 2 flight points, and also these guys get to continue the attack, which in the case of a countercharge happens straight away. You don't wait until everybody else is countercharged, but you just resolve these. And now it's a mini shock. So this group of knights is now going to shock these 2 at plus 1. 3 is 4 on the shock. Nothing happens to this group. And this one is at 5, and again, oh, the defender is retired. No, sorry, the defender, no result actually. So so they just stay where they are, but it's a very good place to be in actually. So now these guys are going to shock this group. Sorry, they're going to charge this group. 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 3 is 8, which is defender disordered, retreat 1 hex, continue attack. Again, these poor guys cannot go anywhere, so they will be eliminated. So 2 more on the flight track. They advance, they continue the attack. Six plus 2 is 8, minus 1 is 7, minus 1 again. For attacking 2 is 6, plus 3 is 9. So these guys are disordered and they retreat 1 hex, which they do. 0 minus 1 minus 2 is minus 2, plus 2 is 0, plus 3 is, oh, attacker disordered. And then this guy is going to shock these ones, because seeing as they were disordered due to the firing, they cannot now charge, they have to shock. That's, oops, sorry, that's a 3. Plus 1 is a 4. Minus 1 because they're attacking 2 units. Sorry, it's 3 plus 1 minus 1, so that's 3 minus 2 because they're disordered is 1, plus 3 because we're attacking light cavalry brings it to a 4. And in this case, that means no result. 7, 8, 7, 5 plus 3 is 8 against these guys, and this means defender disordered. Retreat 1 hex, they cannot retreat, so they will be eliminated. So that was the first round, activation round at Harran. I'm not going to end this video, otherwise it will get too long, and then I'm going to continue with the next activation round.